Welcome to our video on astrology chart for the Earth Day celebration for 2020. Now the sun will be in Taurus, enjoying all the creature comforts of success, and the moon will be residing in the sign of Aries, the ram. It's going to make the moon sort of brave and make her very rash and supple and very, very eager. Now the ascendant will be in Sagittarius on April 22nd, 2020, causing really a lot of excitement and a real love of exploration. Now this year, 2020, is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And it's a celebration of our Mother Earth, and some call it Mother Father Earth. And of course, be mindful that in some cultures, such as in ancient Egypt, the earth was considered father, and the father was named Geb, and the sky was known as the mother goddess Nuit or Nut. Now, with the sun in Taurus, the healing musical note in the ancient Western arrangement for Taurus the bull is the note of E, the note of E, okay? Now, with the moon in Aries, the healing musical note in the ancient Western array for Aries is D. D. All right. Now we're going to give you all of the astrology angels, and we're going to give you the astrology chart as well for this day, and also the planetary archangels, natural and hourly zodiac houses, planetary aspects, ascendant stations, and much, much more coming up. I'm Pastor Rosemary of the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Disclaimers in order here. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now on Earth Day 2020 of April 22nd, so again, it's the 50th anniversary. So every April 22nd we have Earth Day, okay? And it's kind of a recent holiday being on that day. You know, it might be a tradition that goes back to other things, but that specific day is kind of recent, a recent holiday. So 50 years, the 50th anniversary. And so the chart we've done for you is at 12 a.m. Universal Coordinated Time, or 0000 hours. On the 22nd, and we're using tropical astrology for that. Now the sun will be in Taurus, the moon will be in Aries, and Taurus is fixed earth. The elemental guardian archangel of earth is Uriel. Now Uriel is again, it's earthy, and one of the Egyptian gods that you could utilize for Uriel, for an earth angel, would be Anubis. You can use Anubis because Moses was a Egyptian prince, and he knew Egyptian magic, and he brought the Ark of the Covenant, which originally was a device used in Egypt, and it used to have two goddesses on top of it, two winged goddesses, and then it was, when they left Egypt and they brought the Ark of the Covenant with them from Egypt, they changed the goddesses into angels, and they changed the gods and goddesses, the Egyptian gods and goddesses, into angels as well. But they're the same beings. So you can utilize, if you have Egyptian pantheon images or statues or writing or whatever you like to use, you can use that instead. So we're kind of presenting this to you during this presentation. And again, so for Uriel, for elemental guardian angel of earth, because Taurus is fixed earth, you can use Anubis if you like. Now, the Aries is cardinal fire, and that's fire, and the elemental guardian archangel of fire is Michael or Michael. Now, that's a solar attribute or fire attribute, and for fire, you can go ahead and you can use the sun god. You can either use, I have Osiris here, who's a sun god and a vegetative god, also god of the underworld, but he's considered a sun god. But there's also the sun god Ra, a moon Ra, and there's Horus too. Now, if you say Amun Ra, understand that when you're saying Amen, when you say Amen in your prayers, you're saying Amun. You're worshiping the sun god. This is not Amun Ra, this is Osiris, but again, he's also a sun god. But Amun Ra, you can understand that Amun Ra, when you say Amen in any religion, you are worshiping Amun Ra, the Egyptian god of the sun. Understand that, and it'll all begin to make sense. That all this comes from Egypt. Okay. Now we're going to look at the chart that we prepared for you. All right, and the chart we prepared for you. We're going to get into the planetary aspects a little bit later on, but for now we would just like to give you some of the heads up on some of the aspects and kind of what kind of effect it's going to have. Okay, all right. Now, on the 22nd at 12 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated, when the sun is in Jupiter, the sun is square Jupiter, sun square Jupiter, and also square Saturn and square Pluto. It's going to also be conjunct Uranus at the same time. And what you truly want to do, what you truly desire to do, and what you believe you should do will come into conflict, okay? And Luna, the moon, will be conjunct Mercury, sextile Mars, and square Jupiter, and also square Pluto. And that's going to make you more confident. And it's going to make it easier to compete for what you want in life rather than struggling about what you want in life. And Mercury will be conjunct the moon, and Mercury will be sextile Mars and square Pluto, causing intuitive feelings and also emotional instincts to prevail over conflicts about sort of socioeconomic reform. So your emotions, your intuition, your instincts are gonna have leverage over any conflicts you have about how to make the socioeconomic reforms that people are concerned about now come into place. So that's during this time. Now Venus is trine Mars and square Neptune on the 22nd of April on Earth Day, and it brings women and men together at home and at work rather than during journeys to far out and distant places. So it's more about getting men and women getting together in a more home setting rather than traveling and meeting on outings. Okay. Now Mars will be sextile Luna and Mercury while trine Venus, and that's encouraging men to share their feelings and thoughts about love and romance. Also, Jupiter square the Sun and the Moon will, while conjunct Saturn and Pluto, creates rivalry between the conscious and the subconscious desire to acquire wealth, and lots of it, due to strict personal rules and fear of alternative lifestyles. Saturn square the Sun and Uranus while conjunct Jupiter causes parents to bond together against revolutionary ideals in their children. Very important. Uranus conjunct the Sun and square Saturn makes it easier for revolutionaries to garner help from young alternative types rather than from older, more established people who don't want to risk what they have to fight for some kind of cause. Now Neptune square Venus discourages getting involved romantically or financially with anyone who is emotionally unavailable or far away. Pluto square the Sun, Moon, and Mercury on the 22nd at 12 a.m. UTC. It's going to be Pluto square the Sun and the Moon and Mercury while conjunct Jupiter. It's going to scare away or frighten away people from delving into and discussing their subconscious motives, what's going on underneath, and also from discussing or getting into fears, their deep internal fears with others. They don't want to talk to others about it unless they are compensated for what they consider to be at risk to their well-being. People don't want to just, just, talk about their fears and their problems with other people on this day at this time, okay? During this planetary aspect, because they're going to want to keep it to themselves, and they're going to think it's risky for them to do so. And the only way you're going to get anybody to talk about themselves is if you're going to have to compensate them well in some manner and assure them they're not at risk. So understand that. For people who want people to get out of their comfort zones, you're going to have a hard time doing that during these planetary aspects. Okay, now the astrology chart that we've prepared for you this month is for Earth Day on, again, April 22nd, 2020 at 0000 hours, and it's also 12 a.m. Universal Time Coordinate, and the chart we've prepared is calculated from that precise time. It includes the hourly astrology house calculations. We're also including planetary aspects, ascendant, stations, natural houses, and horoscope houses associated with planetary placements. Now there's a lot of squares, okay, so that's why there's a little bit of intense stuff. But just because something's intense doesn't mean it's not good for you. Just like if you want to have a strong body, you lift weights, you get resistance, same thing. These squares can help you, the tension can help you build yourself if you stay focused and you do things appropriately. Now, and you pay attention to the astrology that's going on, you can focus yourself and do very well. Now the sun is going to be in Taurus at 2 degrees, 19 minutes in the 3rd house, which is similar to the sign of Gemini of transportation and communication. Now Taurus is akin to the natural 2nd house of money and possessions. The bull's divine tone is I have. Planetary Archangel Michael visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Asmodel. Now Michael is a solar angel, and again we're using Osiris as the sun god, vegetative god, sun god, vegetation god, associated with the sun also. Now, understand that you can also use Amun-Ra, or you can also use Horus. Okay, and so this solar energy, solar deity of the sun god or the solar angel Michael is going to visit the zodiac habitation of Zodiac Angel Asmodel of Taurus. Now the moon in Aries at 20 degrees, 16 minutes in the 3rd house, which is analogous to the sign of Gemini of transportation and communication. Now Aries is similar to the natural 1st house of yourself and your appearances, how you see yourself and how you appear to others and how you think you appear to others, that kind of thing. Now the ram's divine tone is I am. I am that I am. Eheye, Asher, Eheye. Planetary Archangel Gabriel of the moon visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Malchiel. Now we don't have Khonshu, we don't have the Egyptian moon god. We utilize Set for Set is the deity who do a spear at Horus every evening to make the sun set. To make the sun set. Sometimes called Seth, but to make the sun set. Okay, and the sun god Horus. So he puts Horus down, and then Horus rises in the morning. Like we die and rise again in our next incarnation, that kind of thing. Okay, so we can use Set for the moon if you like. Even though it's not a moon god, it's something you can utilize because it's what puts the sun to sleep, or for the evening. It has those sleepy evening eyes, which I like about Set so much, is the way his eyes look. Yeah. Okay. Now we have Mercury in Aries. We're going to go over the chart more close up later when we get to the planetary aspects. Yeah. Now Mercury in Aries at 18 degrees, 38 minutes in the 3rd house, which is akin to the sign of Gemini of transportation and communication. Aries is analogous to the natural 1st house of self and appearances. So a lot about communication and getting places and how do I look and how do I look to myself, how do other people think I look, how does my family appear, how do my relationships appear, how do my social media accounts appear to others, appearances, we're keeping up appearances, that kind of thing, okay? So with this Mercury in Aries. And Aries is analogous to natural 1st house again, self and appearances. The ram's divine tone is I am. Planetary Archangel Raphael, similar to Thoth of Egypt, that mercurial deity, the scribe of the gods. Thoth, or Thoth, visits the abode of zodiac angel Melchiel of Aries. Okay. Now, we're going to have Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini at 14 degrees 18 minutes in 6th house, which is similar to the sign of Virgo of habits and health. Gemini is akin to the natural 3rd house. Again, transportation and communication. The twins' divine tone is I think. Okay, I think. So that can be associated with Thoth. But the planetary archangel Anael of Venus visits habitation of zodiac angel Umbriel of Gemini. Now, planetary archangel Anael of Venus is similar to the Egyptian goddess Hathor. Hathor, okay? Hathor. And that's for Venus. That the morning star Venus, she's the goddess Hathor, okay? Is one of the associations. Sometimes people have varied associations, but that is one of them. Now, Mars in Aquarius at 15 degrees 24 minutes in the 2nd house, which is analogous to the sign of Taurus of money and possessions. And Aquarius is similar to the natural 11th house of your friends and your reputation. The water bearer's divine tone is I know. Planetary seraphim Samael of Mars visits dwelling of zodiac angel Cambriel of Aquarius. Cambriel of Aquarius. The martial deity, I suppose because Set throws the spear at Horus, you could use him for a sort of a martial deity because he does have that sort of aspect about him. I suppose you could use that in a pinch if you wanted to, if you didn't have all the proper Egyptian, accoutrement. Now, Jupiter in Capricorn at 26 degrees 26 minutes in the 1st house, which is akin to the sign of Aries of self and appearances. Capricorn is analogous to the natural 10th house of your social standing and your fame. The goat's divine tone is I use. Planetary archangel Sachiel of Jupiter will visit the abode of zodiac angel Hanael of Capricorn. Okay. Now, Saturn in Aquarius at 1 degree. 39 minutes in the 1st house, which is similar to the sign of Aries. Self and appearance is a lot about that on this day, on Earth Day. People are going to want to worry about how they look, how they are, what are they doing about Earth Day, what are they doing about the planet, how are they taking care of the planet, that kind of thing. Aquarius is akin to the natural 11th house of friends and reputation, and that has to do with your reputation and how many friends you have, and if your friends, sometimes quantity, quality, are your friends good friends, that kind of thing. Now, the water bearer's divine tone is I know for Aquarius, and planetary archangel Cassiel, who is similar to the Egyptian goddess Ma'at. Cassiel for the planetary angel, and Ma'at for the Egyptian goddess, visits the habitation of zodiac angel Cambriel of Aquarius. Now, Ma'at is for Saturn, okay? And Ma'at has the 42 laws of Ma'at. And that's probably where a lot of people think they got the 10 Commandments from. So it all came from Egypt, which came from Atlantis and Lemuria and all of that. So it goes back and back and back. Okay, now, Uranus in Taurus at 6 degrees 20 minutes in the 4th house, which is analogous sign of Cancer, of hearth, home, and family. Taurus is similar to the natural 2nd house of your money and your possessions. The bull's divine tone is I have. Planetary archangel Ariel of Uranus visits the dwelling of zodiac angel Asmodel. Neptune in Pisces at 19 degrees 57 minutes in the 2nd house, which is akin to the sign of Taurus of money and possessions. So we're getting into the money and possessions with the outer Kuiper Belt planets. Pisces is analogous to the natural 12th house of spirituality. The fish's divine tone is I believe. That's why I talk about in the age of Pisces to believe in Jesus Christ, because it's the age of Pisces, believe. But we get into the age of when we get in the age of Aquarius, it's I know. See how that's different, yeah? Planetary archangel Asariel visits the abode of zodiac angel Omnitziel. Of Omnitziel for Pisces, Asariel for Neptune. Just like for, if you have I am, God who, I am is from the Hebrew tradition, because that's the ram, Aries the ram. Okay, and the ram's horn that they blow the shofar, I believe it's a ram's horn, I think. that, and the sacrificing of the lambs and the rams and the Lamb of God and that kind of thing. That's because that was during the age of Aries, and then it moves, and the avatar or the Messiah becomes a different one for that age, and a different one for each age. Yeah. Okay. Now we have, again, we're going to have Pluto in Capricorn at 24 degrees 59 minutes in the first house, which is similar to the sign of Aries of self and appearances. Capricorn is akin to the natural 10th house of your social standing, your fame. Again, it's sort of about your status, your clout. The goat's divine tone is I use. Planetary archangel Azrael. Business habitation of zodiac angel Haniel. And Haniel has a lot of similarities to Venus, so you could, in that similarity with Capricorn, you could use Hathor for that sort of Venusian energy, if you wanted to. Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, you could use Ma'at. So you could use Hathor for the earthiness of Capricorn. You could use Ma'at for the Saturn, because Saturn rules Capricorn, even though we're talking about Pluto and Capricorn. Okay, Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess. Now, the North Node retrograde in Cancer at 2 degrees, 18 minutes in the 7th house, which is analogous to the sign of Libra of long commitment. So the North Node will be retrograde in Cancer. And that Cancer is similar to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family. The crab's divine tone is I feel, I feel. Planetary archangel Gabriel rules over Luna, and zodiac angel Muriel presides over the sign of Cancer the crab. The moon rules over the sign of Cancer the crab as well. In this retrograde station, there's often nostalgic or unresolved feelings which might need to be revisited for further healing. Cancer the crab is a nurturing sign, so make sure to nurture those qualities in yourself that you wish to cultivate for health and for happiness, while ignoring the attributes in yourself that do not give you what you truly want in life. Again, for the moon, you could in a pinch use Set if you don't have the proper Egyptian moon god. Now, the hourly astrology house calculations. Again, we chose the 12 a.m. Midnight UTC for hourly house calculations on the 22nd. And the hourly house calculations reveal 7th house qualities of long commitment akin to the sign of Libra, cardinal air, the scales for the North Node. This places the South Node in the 1st house with attributes analogous to the sign of Aries, cardinal fire, the ram of self and appearances. Okay, and because Libra is ruled by Venus, you could utilize Hathor again. Okay, you could utilize Hathor for that, and for Aries, I suppose, because again the martial aspect, we said you could also utilize Set. So Set can do a lot of things because of that warrior aspect and that setting of the sun aspect, the darker aspect. Now, and the sleepy eyes, which are lovely. I love Set's eyes. Now, monthly zodiac natural horoscope house calculations, when referring to this month's placements of North and South Node, being that the North Node in Cancer and the South Node is in Capricorn, it becomes important for individuals to attempt to put more emphasis on the practical usage of their own feelings or the feelings of others for the purposes of socio-economic climbing up the ladder of success towards more fame and notoriety. Cancer is analogous to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family, while Capricorn is similar to the natural 10th house of social standing and fame. And also, South Node placement is in the sign of Capricorn the goat, whose divine tone is I use. The North Node, being Cancer the crab, has a divine tone of I feel. The North Node represents an individual's path in this current incarnation. The South Node corresponds to one's past incarnations, and with the sign of Capricorn being the placement, it becomes more evident when we consider the divine tone of Capricorn, which is I use. I use. The astrological formula for Capricorn the goat, South Node, past life with the divine tone of I use, and Cancer the crab, North Node, present incarnation with the divine tone of I feel, is that a person who knows how to utilize people and creatures, both flora and fauna, for either personal or organizational gain, begin to understand and sympathize with others when considering relationships between self and not self. Self and not self is sort of like you have what a monad is. And you have, and when teaching Kabbalah, the monad is a teaching where you have this is yourself, and this is what you consider not self, everybody else. This is you as everybody else and the rest of the universe. But in reality, it's all one. Of course, that's the Kabbalistic secret of that. And regarding the monad, its concept is explained very well by the authoress Dion Fortune. She's the authoress of this book, The Mystical Kabbalah, my very favorite Kabbalistic book, a book she wrote, which was first published in England in 1935 and then reprinted by Samuel Weiser Inc. in 1984, which is this book, The Mystical Kabbalah, spelled with a Q. When it's spelled with a K, it's more spiritual because you have a line and an arrow going into it, which is an arrow going into its target, into the body, okay? That's the K, the K, like a kill shot for an arrow, for like catching your prey. Spirit, spear, it. It's all the way the human mind expresses itself. And it goes back to ancient practices. So this is more of a queenly-like way to Kabbalah with a Q. It has more to do, and H.O.A.F, you know, it has more to do with maybe a subconscious, feminine way of looking at things. And it's more from a queen point of view. It has more of those characteristics about it. Now the ascendant, the first house is in Sagittarius here at 27 degrees. Well, so it's almost to the end of Sagittarius though. 27 degrees, 35 minutes. The 12th house stretches from 11 degrees Sagittarius to 27 degrees Sagittarius. So 12th house in here, kind of small, okay? And the first house encompasses from 27 degrees Sagittarius to 12 degrees Aquarius, okay? So kind of a lot bigger there, yeah? A lot bigger than the 12th house in this particular chart, okay? In this particular chart. Now, conjunctions occur in astrology when two planets are very, very close together at an orb of 8 degrees or less, placing them in the same zodiac sign, or into the same astrology house, or both, okay? Signs are always comprised of 30 degrees. The signs, zodiac signs, are always comprised of 30 degrees, while astrology houses are not always 30 degrees. Rather, they vary with some being more and some being less, okay? So now we're going to just get into the planetary aspects for you, and we're going to bring this up for you in closer so that you can see it easier as we go over this for you, since these are specifically about the planetary aspects. And the sun is square Jupiter. So the sun in Taurus square Jupiter in Capricorn on the red line. And we have the sun also in Taurus square Saturn. Saturn here in Aquarius. And that's, again, on the red line. There's a lot of squares, a lot of red lines, so it's a tense month, but again, you can build yourself up very strong. Now, and now that we're in the year of the rat, the yang metal rat, it's a year to really use that strength, you know? Very important, because metal, yang metal, and creative and forceful, okay, and lithe and clever and supple, you know, and fast. Okay, now the sun will be conjunct Uranus. So the sun in Taurus, in the third house, will be conjunct Taurus. Conjunct Uranus. Uranus in Taurus in the fourth house. So in this instance, it's the same sign but not the same house. Now that's not always the case. Sometimes the opposite of that. But in this case, that's the way it is. And the sun will be, in Taurus, will be square on the red line Pluto in Capricorn. Now the moon is going to be in the third house in the sign of Aries, and it's going to be conjunct Mercury in Aries in the third house also. The moon will be sextile Mars on the green line in Aquarius. So the moon in Aries, sextile on the green line, the Mars in Aquarius. If you want to see these charts really up close and personal, you can just go down in the description box and click on it. It'll take you to the Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel blog, where I put these charts. You can see them very well, and also where I put the information, so you can see that you can see it all in one place. Okay, so you can see it real close. Okay, now the moon will be square Jupiter. So the moon in Aries square Jupiter in Capricorn. And we're going to have moon square Pluto, moon in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn as well. Okay, and we're going to have Mercury here in Aries. In the third house, it's going to be conjunct the moon here also in the third house in Aries, the Ram. Mercury in Aries will be sextile on the green line Mars in Aquarius, and Mercury in Aries will be square on the red line Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn. Now Venus, the planet Venus will be trine Mars. Venus in Gemini will be trine Mars in Aquarius on the blue line. Yeah, okay. And we're going to have Venus in Gemini on the red line square Neptune in Pisces on the green line. Square Neptune in Pisces. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Because it's a square, it won't be a green line, it's going to be a red line. Excuse me, it'll be a red line because it's a square. Green lines are for sextile. Okay. Now Mars will be sextile the moon. So we have Mars here in Aquarius, and it's going to be on the green line sextile the moon in Aries. And we're going to have Mars again in Aquarius on the green line sextile Mercury also it's going to be in Aries. And we're going to have Mars trine Venus. So we have Mars in Aquarius on the blue line trine Venus in Gemini. And we have also Jupiter is going to be square the sun. So we have Jupiter here in Capricorn on the red line square the sun in Taurus. And we have Jupiter also is going to be square the moon. So Jupiter here in Capricorn is going to be square the moon. The moon is going to be in Aries. And Jupiter is going to be conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. So Jupiter conjunct Saturn in Capricorn, and Jupiter is in the first house in Capricorn, Saturn in the first house, but in Aquarius. So here we have, they're in the same house. They're both in the first house, but they are in different signs, with Jupiter in Capricorn and Saturn in Aquarius. So that explains that portion for you. Now, Jupiter will be conjunct Pluto, and Jupiter is in the first house in Capricorn, and conjunct Pluto in the first house in Capricorn as well. Saturn is going to be square the sun. So we have Saturn in Aquarius on the red line square the sun in Taurus. And we have Saturn conjunct Jupiter. So we have Saturn here in Aquarius in the first house conjunct Jupiter in the first house, but Jupiter in Capricorn. So they're both in the first house with Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Capricorn. And we have Saturn square Uranus. So we have Saturn in Aquarius on the red line square Uranus in Taurus the bull. Now Uranus is going to be conjunct the sun. Uranus conjunct the sun, both in Taurus. However, we have Uranus in the fourth house, and we have the sun in the third house, both in Taurus, but again, Uranus in the fourth and the sun in the third. Now Uranus is square Saturn. Uranus here in Taurus, square on the red line, Saturn in Aquarius. And we have Neptune square Venus. So we have Venus in Gemini, square on the red line. We have, Neptune is here in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces on the red line, square Venus in Gemini. And finally, last but not least, we have Pluto. Pluto. Some say you're a dwarf planet. Remember, dwarves are strong. Remember. Okay, we have Pluto square the sun. We have Pluto in Capricorn, square on the red line, the sun in Taurus. And we have Pluto again in Capricorn, square the moon in Aries, the sign of Aries. And we have Pluto in Capricorn, square Mercury here in Aries, and we have Pluto conjunct Jupiter. So we have Pluto conjunct Jupiter, and both are in Capricorn, and both are in the first house. Okay, now we'd like you to please be sure and see the video that we've just made, and we're just loading up along with these, called Tropical Astrology versus Sidereal Astrology. Which is more accurate? So please check that out for a very in-depth look we've done at the various arguments comparing the validity and the accuracy of tropical, sidereal, and Vedic systems, also taking a looky-loo at new systems and the new 13th sign systems, and also the constellational type of astrology. So please look that up. It gives you a very good, sort of a treatise on that. Yeah? Okay. Now, information found in this document and in this video is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.